Given the success of the NES Classic Edition so far, it's only going to be a matter of time before we're going to get a miniaturized version of this bad boy right here. That's right, folks, the Super Nintendo Classic Edition is going to become a thing someday, maybe not for Christmas 17, but someday down the road, everyone's going to be lining up outside their local store, fighting over Super Nintendo Classic Editions. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Snaggle J, and on today's show, we are taking a look at my 30 games for the SNES Classic Edition. Let's kick off with some honorable mentions of games that just missed the cut. ActRaiser, Contra 3 The Alien Wars, NHL 94, Ken Griffey Jr. Presents Major League Baseball, Tetris Attack, Harvest Moon, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, and Secret of Mana. Now let's move on to the 30 games that I did pick for the SNES Classic Edition in alphabetical order. Number 1, Aladdin. Maybe not as good a game as its Genesis counterpart, Aladdin is still a challenging, fun, side-scrolling adventure game chronicling one of the best animated movies of the 1990s. Number 2, Chrono Trigger. An unbelievably great RPG, well known for having over a dozen different endings. The battle system was fantastic, and the story was nothing short of captivating. Number 3, Donkey Kong Country 1. Number 4, Donkey Kong Country 2. And number 5, Donkey Kong Country 3. Of all the series on the Super Nintendo, Donkey Kong Country seems to be the most likely to have all of its games included. The series seemed to be getting better with each game as there was always a new character or a new mechanic introduced that kept the game fresh, and for the time period, the Donkey Kong Country games looked fantastic. Number 6, Earthbound. Probably the most played Super Nintendo game today. Earthbound has a wonderful cult following and can routinely be found at the top of everyone's favorite RPGs of all time lists. Number 7, Earthworm Jim. Isn't it a shame that we haven't had a new Earthworm Jim game in over 2 decades? It was a quirky and fun game that everybody loved. Number 8, FZero. For as easy and accessible as racing games were during that time period, FZero was hard as fuck. It was a fast-paced game that also gave us our first glimpse of Captain Falcon. It'll definitely ratchet up the difficulty level on the SNES Classic. Number 9, Final Fantasy III. Whatever number of Final Fantasy game this actually is, which I could probably actually do an entire video on, Final Fantasy III is best known for having one of the best music soundtracks ever in a video game. The story was great, the characters were relatable, it's basically everything you wanted in an RPG. Number 10, Kirby's Dream Course. It's Kirby, it's mini golf, it's fantastic. Number 11, Kirby's Dreamland 3. Kirby's Dreamland 3 is an often overlooked title on the Super Nintendo, considering it came out an entire year after the Nintendo 64 was already on the market. It took everything that people liked about previous NES and SNES Kirby titles and packaged it all together in a near-perfect adventure experience. Number 12, Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. Listen, it's gonna be on there. It's guaranteed. They won't make an SNES Classic and not include Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. It's about as close as you can get to a perfect video game. It's not only probably the best Super Nintendo game, but probably one of the top 3 or 4 games of all time. Go play it right now, and then come back and thank me in the comments down below. Number 13, Mega Man X. Again, another example of a game that took from previous games and added to it and made it better. Mega Man X took everything that people enjoyed about the Mega Man series on the Nintendo and added some cool new elements like wall jumps and being able to charge up your power weapons, making the game that much better. It didn't hurt that they made the game a little easier, which made it quite a bit simpler for casual gamers to jump in and enjoy the Mega Man experience. Number 14, Mortal Kombat 2. Yes, I know Mortal Kombat 1 was the first game in the franchise and was really the introduction, but on the Super Nintendo it was a shell of the game developers intended. It wasn't until Mortal Kombat 2 that Nintendo players were able to get the full Mortal Kombat experience by unlocking the fatalities. With a new cast of characters and improved controls and gameplay, Mortal Kombat 2 deserves to be on the list. Number 15, NBA Jam. Boom! Shakalaka! What a fantastic game NBA Jam was, basically letting you relive an arcade basketball experience from the comfort of your living room. This game was on fire! Number 16, Pilot Wings. A flight simulator game which took advantage of the Mode 7 3D graphics, Pilot Wings might not be the best game on the Super Nintendo, but because it was developed and designed directly by Shigeru Miyamoto, it's going to be on the classic. Number 17, Starfox. The innovator of the Super FX chip and the barrel roll, Starfox is often overlooked as one of Nintendo's banner franchises. Number 18, Super Bomberman. The very first Super Nintendo game to support 4 players if you were fortunate enough to have a multitap. Super Bomberman did not stray far from what made it a great series. Number 19, Super Castlevania IV. Simon Belmont, his whip, Dracula, and a fantastic soundtrack come together to make the list. Probably not the best Castlevania game of all time, but definitely the best on the Super Nintendo. Number 20, Super Double Dragon. Like most games on this list that had NES equivalents, it took what made the Nintendo game great and made it super. While Super Double Dragon might not have a riveting story or a flashy new concept, it's still a solid beat-em-up title. Number 21, Super Mario All-Stars. Now this one's probably wishful thinking on my behalf. You know Super Mario World is going to make the list, but why not include the later revision of Super Mario All-Stars so people can enjoy Super Mario Bros. 1, 2, 3, The Lost Levels, and Super Mario World getting 5 games for the price of 1? Because we all know Nintendo loves to give value to the consumer. Just scratch this one out and mark Super Mario World down, I guess. Number 22, Super Mario Kart. Do I need to say more about this game? It's Super Mario Kart. It's the first one. It was an innovative series. They've made like 8 more games. It's gonna be there. It's gonna be on the list. And it wasn't until the Nintendo 64 that they introduced that stupid fucking blue turtle shell. Number 23, Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. For as good as people say Super Mario World was, Super Mario World 2 was just that much better. The levels were great, the puzzles were great, the artwork was phenomenal, and the introduction of Yoshi as a fully controllable character was very well done. Number 24, Super Mario RPG, The Legend of the 7 Stars. The land of Mario meets the land of RPG. This is one of my personal favorite games of all time. It's an unreal game that every gamer should appreciate at least once in their lives, if not 10 or 15 times. While in recent years Nintendo has moved more towards the Paper Mario RPG games and the Mario and Luigi RPG games, everyone needs to go back and remember that The Legend of the 7 Stars was the one that started it all. Number 25, Super Metroid. Listen, it's a near flawless game. It's about as close to perfect as a video game can be. And 25 years after its release, it has spawned an entire genre of games. It's not only one of the best games on the Super Nintendo, but probably one of the best games of all time. It makes the list. Number 26, Super Punch-Out. Little Mac is back, and he's ready for more, and it's on the list because you know it's going to be on there. Number 27, Super Star Wars. Listen, this one was a tough one, because I would love to put all 3 Super Star Wars games on the SNES Classic. But unfortunately, the spot of Token Trilogy has already been taken up by Donkey Kong Country. Now, having said that, Super Star Wars is a great game that doesn't stray too far from the New Hope movie that it represents. Number 28, Super Street Fighter II. At a time when the Street Fighter franchise was going head-to-head with Mortal Kombat titles on a seemingly yearly basis, Super Street Fighter II was the penultimate game of the 16-bit era for Capcom. It brought along new mechanics, refined controls, and of course, new characters, making it the must-play Street Fighter game on the Super Nintendo. Number 29, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time. A game that shows you how fun beat-em-ups can be when you have 2 players. While the time-traveling gimmick didn't always make the most sense in the gameplay, you can ignore things like that when it's as fun as this game actually was. Number 30, Zombies Ate My Neighbors. It was a fun and goofy game, and it was loose, and it had good graphics, and it came long before literally everything had zombies in it like it does today. Zombies Ate My Neighbors was a fantastic title and would be a nice round-out addition to my Super Nintendo Classic. Well, folks, there's my list of the 30 games I think are going to make up the SNES Classic Edition when it comes out in who knows what year. What do you guys think? Where did I get it right? Where did I get it wrong? Let me know down in the comments below. And as always, guys, make sure you guys like and share the video. And if you want to subscribe, hey, you can click this floating picture of my face right here. Click right there to subscribe and get notifications whenever I release a brand new video. And until next time, peace.